technically put on the pick guard and all this, do your soldering and everything, I'm going to hit pause, and I'll be back and I'll show you some of the process. Okay, so now I have all the springs on, and I almost made a mistake there. I have all the springs on, and I have the wire pulled through to the ground. Okay, and so I need to solder the ground in. Got my solder iron heated back up. Solder right here. Don't need a lot. You got to tin off the back. I have a little connector on it. Could have done this while this was not in the front of it. Oh well. You make a big kind of like puddle, big puddle, little puddle on the claw. Okay. A little bit on the connector itself. Try not to do it over the thing to the top, but I only have some lines here. Then trying to get it in a position where you can hold it down onto the solder. Get it stuck in there. Right, I really got it in there, and that should hold. I'm gonna leave the solder iron heated up. I'm gonna show you another part that needs to happen. And it kind of goes like this. I could have screwed that in, and that's what I did. But this needs to get soldered. Alright, so again, I need to tin off the connecting point. Put it down there. Keep your solder in. A little bit on there. These are already tinned off pretty good. There you go. And you're going to connect the inner and outer ring. You're going to put the hot end to what they call the tip and the negative end to the sleeve. And so, let me grab hot end. Whoops. Oh yeah, should note that you have everything pinned off before you try this part. Okay, and the ground. And that's that on that. So it's up in there, and I keep forgetting tools, but I like to push them through and then leave like that. And so I need to snip off the ends that I pushed through. Yeah, it's got plenty of solder around it. Actually, I can see some that I can kind of push that. Got that snipped off. It's all soldered in. You just kind of set it down into a little cavity. You make sure everything is lined up nicely. Sometimes in this case I've already had the holes pre-drilled and everything ready to go, so I've already set this part. But I tested to make sure that it fits right, you know, when I purchased this item. And yeah, so now I just need to kind of mark a hole that I need to drill through, or not drill through, but into. Grab a couple little pieces of hardware. And start. So I saw this guy on the internet the other week, and he was saying pre-drill all these. I disagree. These are wood screws, and if you use a little screwdriver in your hand, these tiny little screws, especially in some guitar bodies in certain wood have, but in some you can just use your hand and get it perfect. If you can over tighten with a drill or whatever, it's going to be messed up. So on some of these, I actually prefer to use this. Alright, so now we have a guitar that looks like this. Alright, you're going, oh, this is starting to really look like a guitar. You know, I still have my plastic films on everything so that I'm not scratching up everything as I'm going. Of course, minus the body because the body didn't come with one. And I'm just building along. One thing that I found is that you probably should take your time. Just take your time with putting the thing together and assembling, because the more you take your time, the least likely you are to make a mistake. And maybe have all your stuff with you as well. Alright, so where am I in this process? I could technically button up the back, putting on this cover, and yeah, actually I think that's what I'm going to do. You want to make sure that's on there straight and that all the holes have a place to go. And so this is all visual unless they're pre-drilled or that you drilled it yourself. Let's see. I also like to make sure that this is where your strings go through, that it kind of lines up with the holes. Just string it through. Okay, there. That looks like a good spot. I just need to make sure that it's straight. Visually straight. You know, you see some guys here with, this is an odd shape. You see some guys measuring. They don't realize that measuring from here to here is completely different. So you have to like really visualize that it's straight. Remake my holes with my little punch here. So now I know where to go and continue with this process. There, you don't want to put too much pressure going this way because you have your electronics on the other side. I mean, you probably really won't hurt anything, but you just don't want to. So I knew I was going to get to the point where I didn't have enough hardware. Little screws. You need to just go to the store and get a few. Then the next steps, I think it is time to put on the neck. So I'm going to hit pause here, prepare for that. It's a little bit of a whatever, and we'll get to that point. All right. Okay, I don't remember exactly where I left you off. I know I was doing some fitting stuff, and but I started fitting the neck a little bit, and I'll show you why I have this here in a second. But I'll just basically break it all down and go through a couple more steps with the electronics. You want to, I have this little amp here. You want to make sure that they work. So I'm going to a little amplifier, plug it in. Boy, that was a tight pocket. Get my little headsets for my little amplifier here. Headsets. So this is how I test to make sure they work. There's several ways you can get electronic current tester, but I just get a little amplifier, turn it on. Yeah, and I hear the tap tap. Turn the volume up. Yeah, and it works. And they're in the right positions. So guitar will work. So then I'm going to put the neck back in the pocket here that I was checking out, and I am going to, you technically want to put on a tuning key or two. Lord, should I? Yeah, I think that I am. Grab a tuning key here. I have them here. And all the little hardware for it. I'm not going to totally build up the neck just yet because I want to put a water slide logo on there, and I'll show you guys that later. I actually haven't ordered the water slide yet, so it shows you how far behind I am with that. Grab one of these tuning keys. You really got to do at least two to make sure that it is what it is. Ooh, nice. Nice snug fit too. I'm not going to even need this part just yet. Just put the tuning key in. Actually, this makes me, since they fit like that, makes me want to just grab two like I said initially. Alright, grab two tuning keys out of your package. High E, low E. Alright. Grab two of the cheapest strings you can find anywhere. These aren't going on the guitar. These are literally for measuring and testing. So grab two cheapy strings. I usually take the ones, if you're building a kit, take the ones out of the kit. And I save those for rainy days, not even rainy days, but I just save them for this, for measuring and winding weird ways. So, you're going to bring your string through the bridge. It's going to come out the other side. You're going to put the neck partially on. Through the tuning key, you're not going to even wind it. You can wind it a little bit. You can wind it like a half turn or whatever, but you don't really want to put too much pressure on it. Just kind of bend it over the peg. And line it up so that everything is in perfect thing. So actually, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna be lazy. I was gonna say, yeah, actually, you don't even need to use that string because it'll work if the one string is fine. You know what? Don't even take it. And you go like this. And as suspected, as long as I do not just flush and straight from the top, it's going to be perfectly fine. Okay, the last thing I want to see, not the last thing, you've already checked this a bunch of times, but you want to make sure that your scale length is correct. And again, my scale length is within the parameters that it needs to be. For my line, which is, let's see if I can get the exact number on my line. 25, 3/8, 2 foot, 3/8, whatever. The actual, I think, fender measurement is in millimeters, but what I did is I had a Strat built by Fender. I measured it and I marked it on my tape measure. And it's like, all right, so if I build a Telecaster, if I build a Strat, if I build any Fender guitar except for their short scale one, and maybe, I think that they have one other scale, like a baritone or whatever, that it's going to line up. So, and that's all you need them for, is just to line up to make sure everything's fine. You go, okay, so why don't you just take it out? Because I know where it needs to go. and that it's going to be fine as long as I put the neck in there straight. Some neck pockets are a little bit tighter than this one. This one had a little bit of room, and so it's I'm making sure that it's fine. All right, y'all, the neck is on. I have the neck plate and the screws. So what you have to do here, I didn't want to show all this online, but I measured up and I had the shim in there if you guys remember it. But what you have to do is pre-drill your hole. Again, taping it off so you definitely don't go too far into the neck and then the frets. You tape it off so that your drill goes in just barely enough into the neck and that they sink all the way down in there. So you tape off your drill bit, you pre-drill your hole. Then you just screw it in and you put the neck plate on. And if you've done all that correctly, the neck, with lining it up with the tuning peg and putting the strings through. And again, some of these things you do kind of like before you even put the finish on the guitar, but I knew that it was all going to be all right, and it being a collaboration, I was pretty confident in that it would be fine. If you just get Strat parts, then you can make it happen. And if anything doesn't totally fit, you can kind of Dremel a little bit here or there. And I think that's where we're going to leave it, because I need to. Well, I'm going to put the little strap pegs on. But what I need to do is get the water slide, and I don't want to touch this part of the neck. Could be quite honestly on other builds, I don't even put the neck on until I'm done putting the water slide logo on. But if I leave it right here, I know that I can put a water slide on perfectly fine with the logo on it, and it'll sit and it's not gonna go anywhere. But anyway, thank you again, Kevin Lee here with Old Soul Guitars. Morning Coffee at the Bowl, which is my skating format. Instead of doing 2 YouTube channels I have one for my Old Soul Guitars, it's just going to be way too much work for me setting up lights, thinking of everything I have to say. To be quite honest with you, when I build guitars, I like to just put it together and do my work. It's kind of like therapy. I have my headsets in and go. So to stop and try to explain everything, I could sit there and videotape it all, it'd be a whole lot easier, but then go back and talk over it. But no, I just want to put the thing together and whatever. So this is going to be a giveaway. I was thinking, sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I wrote out some of the rules for some of the people, but to enter, basically, you have to go to Chad Etchison's YouTube channel, see what he did with the stain job, come to my channels, and tell me what he did with the same job. I know, but and then basically say why you would want this guitar. It's going to be a totally free guitar. I value it at, well, it's probably a $600 or $700 guitar, in that the parts that we put into it, plus our labor and time. Maybe even more. I wouldn't sell it for anything less than that if I was selling it. Anyway, beautiful finish. Beautiful classic Fender color going together. Nice stain. You can see the wood grain through it. Could be yours. Thank you. Bye.